9 forgotten 90s kids movies that adults enjoyed too. You've probably heard the statement that 90s kids have been blessed with some of the finest entertainment. You'll realize that it's no exaggeration the moment you shuffle through the great wealth of content from the 90s, both on television and movies. Kids back then have now turned into adults, but they still speak with fondness when it comes to the movies for kids being children. The specialty of the decade is well depicted through some heartwarming stories across all genres and appeals to people across all age groups. With the popular streaming services providing a throwback at these amazing movies, now might be a good time to bask in the nostalgia of these fine movies from your childhood. That's what this video is all about. Grab some popcorn and prepare for some good times ahead as we bring back the happy memories.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The Indian in the Cupboard, 1995. For his 9th birthday, Omri receives several presents, including a wooden cabinet, a set of antique keys, and a plastic model of an Indian. After he locks the plastic model in the cupboard, he is awoken in the middle of the night by some strange sounds. Omri soon discovers that the Indian toy has come to life. When his brother puts in a cowboy toy, it comes to life as well. And as you would expect, the Indian and the cowboy share a hot and cold bond. Hence begins a fun-filled journey as the young boy grapples with his breathing toys. To derive the true essence of this beautiful movie, we recommend that you watch it with children and see how they enjoy the engaging story. This is a gift from Frank Oz to the children, as he makes an unrealistic story believable through his narrative. Considering that it was made in 1995, the special effects are pretty good, and the movie is technically sound. Every young child has the fantasy of bringing their toys to life, and this film explores the concept with such finesse that it will leave you spellbound. The ending is so emotional that it will make the toughest of people reach out for their tissues. The child actors, especially Hal Scardino, who played Omri, have surprised with some remarkable performances. His relationship with the Indian in the cupboard is special, and is all the more adorable due to Omri's innocence. The best thing about the movie is that, irrespective of your age, you can watch it while imagining yourself in Omri's shoes. We can't think of a better way to relive your childhood than watching this film yet again. Flubber, 1997. Based on the Disney classic, The Absent-Minded Professor, this movie tells the story of a professor, Philip Brainerd, who is trying to create a new energy source. He is so dedicated to his work that he has put off his wedding twice. Eventually, he comes up with a substance that can make the heaviest of things bounce in the air, and he calls it Flubber. But his life takes a sorry turn when his fiancée starts going out with another professor and some criminals are after him. He must use Flubber effectively to solve all his problems. Robin Williams is a major part of our childhood, having starred in so many wonderful movies that were intended for children. He stuns yet again in this film as the absent-minded professor. There are some extremely lovable characters like the scientist's flying UFO sidekick, Weebo, that will leave you beaming from ear to ear. The technological brilliance in this movie is obvious, and is a huge improvement from the earlier attempts by Disney. The story was designed to be somewhat of a comedy for children, and it works wonders with Robin Williams pulling off his antics. You will find yourself rooting for this underdog as he faces one adversary after another. A surprise package in this movie is the sound design, where you will find the interesting sound of Flubber that was created by using a rubber balloon filled with water, Metamucil, and air, where the Metamucil would help in making the rubbery gurgly sound. There are some harsh criticisms for this movie, but those who trash this miss the point entirely, that it's just meant as some harmless fun for the kids.
Surrender, Gorgonite ally. You just met your match.
Oh yeah?
Surrender or die!
Small Soldiers, 1998. A toy company makes the mistake of using some military-manufactured special computer chips in their action figures. They start to have a mind of their own and form two groups, the Commando Elite and the Gorgonites. These action figures come to life and take the battle programming too seriously, and start off a war between the two factions. As they battle each other, the kind Gorgonites help Alan and Christy to protect their family from the rampaging commandos. Unlike some of the popular kids' movies in the 90s, this one is criminally underrated. Despite being such an enjoyable watch, the talented director, Joe Dante, carefully creates a political satire while keeping intact the elements that would appeal to the kids. G.I. Joe was a clear inspiration for the Commando action figures, and the director originally wanted the cast of Predator, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, to voice the characters. This movie happens to be a rare instance where Led Zeppelin allowed the use of their songs. The cast consisted of some prominent names like Phil Hartman and Dennis Leary, and it's no surprise that the acting performances are top-notch. Most of the comedic antics were laughable, especially the cowardliness of the Gorgonites or the renovated Barbies. Voiceover acting from Tommy Lee Jones immortalized the character of Chip Hazard, the mini-soldier. The CGI work is commendable, and some scenes are so well shot that they almost appear real. If you have a taste for edgy family films, Small Soldiers will appeal to you. Changed into Ghosts. With Steven Spielberg as an executive producer, the attention to detail is you are looking for.
Hey, great jump!
The Borrowers, 1997. The Borrowers are a 4-inch tall family who live under the floorboards of a house, unknown to the world. After the death of the owner, their existence is threatened, as the house catches the fancy of an evil real estate developer. The tiny people take the help of Pete, the son of the owner, to protect their living space from the people who want to break it down and build luxury apartments in its place. Severely overmatched, will they be able to stop the demolition of their house? This is a fun film that has an entertaining plot and an exciting premise where you can see the world through the perspectives of a tiny 4-inch person. You have at hand a typical children's comic adventure that has its own original story, mildly themed on Mary Norton's novel. Although this was made over 20 years ago, the special effects speak otherwise, as you see a wonderful portrayal of miniature people. A great mix of British and American actors like Mark Williams, Jim Broadbent, Celia Imrie, and others put forward some brilliant acting. Initially, Steven Spielberg was approached to handle the direction, but as he was too busy with Jurassic Park, he didn't find time for this project. Even so, the movie turned out to be great, and would be an absolute treat for all the kids out there.
But it's the last time I set foot in this house.
Problem Child, 1990. Problem Child is all about a notorious 7-year-old child, Junior, who keeps everyone on their toes with his relentless antics. He's adopted by a loving man named Ben and his obnoxious wife. But their lives turn into a nightmare, with Junior continuing his mischievous ways. When a serial killer kidnaps Junior, things take a serious turn. And now, Ben has to rescue Junior before the killer hurts him. This movie strays from the conventional portrayal of children, where they are shown to be all cute and innocent. The protagonist is pure evil and causes havoc all through the film. Problem Child is a perfect counterpart to sweet comedies like Home Alone, and has an element of black comedy in the narrative. The chemistry between Ben and his wife, played by John Ritter and Amy Yazbek, is adorable, and they even got married in real life. The child actor, Michael Oliver, played the problem child to perfection, although he wasn't a speck of his character in reality. Even in the midst of all the commotion and hilarious moments, there are some emotional bits to steal your heart. For instance, after Junior gets kidnapped, Ben doesn't bother initially till he finds out that the mean-spirited kid actually liked him the whole time. He then becomes the savior to stop the bad guy from hurting Junior and pulls off the rescue act. It is goofy, it is a laugh riot, and it is the perfect number for a movie night with kids.
In this classroom, in this school, I am God!
Matilda, 1996. Matilda, the protagonist of this movie, is a wonderful and intelligent girl, but terribly misunderstood by her family. She is different from other kids and has the gift of telekinetic powers. She has some loyal friends and a kind teacher, and manages life without the love of her family. The principal of her school is a sadistic, evil person who makes life difficult for her and her teacher. Eventually, Matilda has to use her telekinetic powers to stand up to her parents and take on the horrible principal. Based on Roald Dahl's classic, Matilda is a wonderful fantasy film that lingers on your mind long after you've watched it. There's some amusing humor, the perfectly written dialogue, and the gripping storyline that allows no lapse in your interest. A special word of appreciation has to be reserved for the amazing acting by Mara Wilson, who played the titular character of the little girl. Even though her mother died of breast cancer while she was shooting for this film, she put up a brave front and completed the filming. Her character strays from that mentioned in the books, but is still fun to watch. There are some interesting characters, such as her parents and the principal, and as you watch this film, you will grow to hate them. It is a clean family movie that can be enjoyed alongside the kids who are sure to love the story.
These guys don't know when to quit. Double whammy? You're on.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, 1995. There comes an evil force on Earth that even the Power Rangers can't contain. It starts off when a giant egg is unearthed during construction work, and Ivan Ooze, who was imprisoned by Zordon a millennia ago, wants his revenge. With Zordon dying, the Power Rangers lose their ability. And as Ivan starts terrorizing the Earth, the Power Rangers head to a distant planet and seek help from an ancient warrior to neutralize the threat. Power Rangers stir up some emotional moments in people as several teenagers grew up on it. While this movie might be a cheesy and corny attempt in bringing these characters together, it still promises to be high on entertainment. It is high on action too, as the Power Rangers are seen skydiving and rollerblading their way into daily life. Besides the lovable characters, the film also boasts of some great villains that make it worthwhile. 6 young actors have been roped in to play the Power Rangers, but they do a decent job in pulling off the challenge. Another attractive feature about this movie is that the special effects are certainly better than the show, and that adds to the viewing experience. They also paid attention to detail and worked hard on it, such as when Paul Freeman drank black currant juice before every shot to make his tongue appear purple. The makers made a smart move when they posted an advertisement in a Sydney newspaper, inviting people to come and watch the fireworks alongside the Power Rangers. This ensured that their final crowd scene was filmed without having to pay for the extras. As a Power Rangers movie, it is a must-watch to ignite the nostalgia of the bygone works back in the day. And Brian Robbins' direction adds to the stunning effects of this very end.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.